today, right? So you have Natalie, you have Nathaniel, you have Brian. Back in the back, I have Sydney, you have me. So our family was a big proponent of education and pursuing, what do you want to do and you be the best at it. Everybody doesn't come from that background. However, find your spot of determination and your motivation. But I can tell you without a doubt, in my family, it's competition. So not one branch of the family is going to dominate. We all go represent. And I thank my cousins for that, because that did push us all to keep going. So when you saw one person go to grad school, you're like, I got to do something. So that did kind of push us all to keep moving forward.
I have to agree with Dr. Clarissa. The biggest thing is hard work. You have to have hard work, but you also, in addition to your family, your faith. I'd say my Sunday school teachers were very much on the front line of pushing you to do better and to do things. So at church, I was always up speaking or doing something of that nature, always arguing with my Sunday school teachers about that's not what this says, that's not what this does. And so practicing law and becoming an attorney was just the thing that I needed to be able to kind of feel what I was passionate about. But it's just, hard work and dedication were some of the things. It was my family and my faith as well as my community.
I would say what prepared me the most is what I learned from being an athlete, and that is discipline. Because you can't just do it one day. You have to do it every day. You have to do it the right way. You have to be consistent. You have to follow rules. You have to know what your team is doing. You have to know what the goals of the team is, your goals are. You have to know what the outcome should be. So I think what prepared me was discipline, because you can't go to law school without discipline. When I went to law school in 1976, there were only 9 of us in a class of 243, 9 black students. And so I knew there was no time to lollygag, no time to play around. I had to be about it every single day.
I think for me, it was my upbringing. I have a total of 40 first cousins. That's with both of my parents combined, and we're very close. I'm very close to all 40 of my first cousins. So I was probably the only one on my dad's side that finished college. There were plenty who went to college, but none of them completed college. So I was always looked at as having to do better and having to do more. But at the same time, don't let that be a downfall.
Quick story. So David said something that really resonated with me, being broke. I goofed off in college, dealing with girls, parties, lost my scholarship. Summer semester, I didn't have enough money to go to school and get an apartment. So I ended up having to sleep in my truck where Oak Street parking deck is before they built the parking deck. Those were some brutal nights living in the heat. I used to go walk through Walmart reading magazines until I got sleepy enough because it was so hot. That to me has been motivation to keep being successful. There's people in my life, mentors, I know y'all use the term mentors here, that I reach out to on a regular basis. Although I've had a lot of success now, I'm at 22 years in my career. I still got probably about 20 more, but that's still a lot that I want to achieve in my life. So,
I did not have a mentor. I seeked out mentors, but one thing I think that's probably when it hit me the most. People will say they will help you, but when it comes down to them actually following through, because my idea of a mentor is not someone who just says they're a mentor and they meet with me one time and give me some advice. A mentor to me is someone who they started when I was, let's say, in college, and they followed my career. You need to like to network. I'm not saying you get away from people you grew up with or that you truly love, but what you become really is impacted on the people that you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with broke people, you're gonna be broke. If you surround yourself with rich people, unless you just don't do what you need to do, you're gonna have success in the financial world. So again, I think it would have made a huge difference as far as my career. Also, make sure that you give back. once you get to where you get to, don't look, and if you don't, even if you don't get where you want to get to, always remember someone needs your help. And just like you wanted a mentor, there's someone else out there seeking a mentor, and be that mentor. If whatever you saw in a bad boss or a bad mentor, make sure you're not that person.
And I would say one of the things to not do when you go to an interview is don't get too deep into your personal and don't get too comfortable in the room into your personal life. So I had an interviewee, I was interviewing for an attorney position, and the guy comes in and the first thing he says, my first question was always, tell me a little bit about yourself. And he started out by saying that, well, I'm an AA, and let me tell you why I'm an alcoholic. That's a little bit more information than I need, okay? So I want you to start with your professional life first. Let me down a little bit easier before you get into the personal part, please.
So I can answer that because I reflect on the number of years it takes, right, to go through medicine. So 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school. Then you have, based on your residency, there are different years. So mine was 4 years, so that's 12 years. So I think about that, and I was like, wow. Carson, would you do it again? Yes, I would. Because I feel like this is a calling, this is where God has placed me. He gave me the passion to want to help people. And, you realize as you serve in your field, and that's one of the, I think, the most important things. You guys don't go after money. Go where you have a passion, because then you're going to want to go to work.
I should struggle with this one. I would say yes, but with some core foundational modifications. And it ties into what you've heard here today. If I could sort of go back in time, I would encourage my younger self to be more fearless, take more risks, not be afraid to be my authentic self from day one.
Would I do it again? 100%. Mostly because my first day as a lawyer, the guy who owned the firm had not met me, and he thought I worked in the mailroom. And so that just did me so much good. Like, you just don't know who y'all are hiring. So I like the fact that you have this shock value of people meeting you because they don't expect that we are excellent. They have a certain expectation of us based on our melanin, but I like the fact that let me just shock you. And it's not a braggadocious sort of thing or being up or anything like that. It's just the idea that I know I'm smart because that's what my parents told me. I know I'm smart because that's the way God made me. So you're never going to be able to say anything to me that's going to make me not rise to the top, because that's what I do. And if you do that, then I'll just do like Kendrick Lamar, write a diss song like he did with Drake, and put you in your place. So you're just not going to be able to dismiss me by saying I can't. But I would do it again every single day. One, it's been a great way to provide for my family. It's been a great way to be in other people because I have my own firm. I'm a firm now where I can actually hire people and that sort of thing, just like sharing everybody can do it. So that's a good thing. My biggest challenge was that it was a financial hardship to get into law school, not to get in, but to pay for it. And so one of the people who actually mentored me was a white lawyer from my hometown who just became my friend because I asked him to, and he helped me get the financing to go to law school. But it was a big challenge because, we were not wealthy. When I tell you poor, we still live with one O. That's how poor we were. But that challenge can be overcome with planning. And so I would say to you, start planning now what you want to do. You can look up, you can Google what it costs and start calculating in your mind how to get there. Sometimes scholarships. When I went to college, I had an academic scholarship and an athletic scholarship, and I worked. So I don't know how else you do it except but plan for it because that's going to be there. That's the biggest challenge, but it's a challenge you can overcome. Even if it looks like it's insurmountable, hang in there, look at every resource. I'm big on research, and so I run down every resource I can to get what I can to get what I'm trying to do. So I would think that would be a challenge, but it's not something you can't overcome.